Here we go!
Get that last no-scope kill and hit pause. It's time for the video game podcast where the Konami code is alive and well. The console wars don't exist. Rings are just as valuable as coins. Pots are not safe from swords. Giant robots kick ass. And fireballs are a perfectly acceptable weapon in a fist fight. That's right. It's time for the Super Gamer Bros podcast Ultra Hyper Alpha Super EX Double Impact Plus A Live. Settle in and let's get to gaming.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Super Gamer Bros. I am one of your hosts, Slayton, joined by...
I'm Cynic, hello.
I'm Pocky D, or no, I'm sorry, fix that. I am Pocky KLM on Twitch.
So, one of us has the plague. Can you tell which one it is?
Yes, I have. We're 99% sure we have the Rona. I have a test. It hasn't come back positive yet. But after my wife spent a little time with someone who is now sick as hell, and they have a positive Rona test, the whole family is sick. So we're pretty sure we have it. And it's the strangest damn virus ever.
I have a beverage that is 53% alcohol if you wish to.
Yeah, I don't know if that'd be too helpful. I don't know if that helped the fucking vertigo. I got. Like I said, this thing is really weird. It might have. So it might have a weird cure to it. So I will say this right off the bat, guys. Of course, I've got the baby. The wife let me take a very nice nap, which helped very much. Lots of hydration, lots of rest helps with that. Yeah, I know. So I went ahead and volunteered to take the baby since I had napped for a good 2 hours, leaving her alone with the child. So if the opportunity presents itself and my voice can't hold out because a sore throat is part of it too, then, I'll let you guys know. But anyway.
I am not a slave driver. I told him not to do it, but he is like, no, I will turn into a zombie on camera for you.
Yeah.
And it'll be the best show ever.
I'm good with that. My voice typically only lasts so long right now, so I'll let you know if it starts to go out on me and, wave goodbye if I need to.
All right. So let's get things started with our level 1 section, which is our gamer rundowns, what we've been doing this week. So let's keep it short so we can try to get as much of Seneca in the show as possible. I'll kick it off. I started the expansion to Pokemon, the DLC content this week. And so I go to the new island, and I'm met by the first major trainer there. And she's about you outside. So I'm like, oh, this should be fun. So I go outside. She throws her Pokemon. It's level 58. I'm level 100. I was like, wait, what? Killed it in one hit.
Wow.
I'm looking around. Nothing is leveled up. There's not a level cap. All my Pokemon are massively overpowered. So I'm going to breeze through this entire DLC expansion.
Ouch. $40 well spent.
It was 30, yeah.
I think one of the big things is that you can have a Pokemon behind you, like Pokemon Pikachu and Eevee.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet because I literally just started. I got to the new island, and I was like, oh, there's no new level cap, and everything is based on the high level of the main game. So all these people who have been playing and getting their Pokemon to level 100 for 6 months are in an island of breezes. So hopefully it changes, but we'll see what happens.
That's well, I guess they had to make sure that if you're not no lifing it and you're level 100 for everything, that it's still accessible.
We shall see. All right, Cedric, what have you been doing this week besides getting sick?
I been playing a lot of State of Decay 2. They've released a lot of updates and a lot of new content for it. And so I was trying to find something that I could pause easily. I've kind of eased up on the multiplayer a little bit lately, just so I can take care of the baby. She had a hard go of it for a while and pretty much asymptomatic now, so I think she beat everything before I did, which is a little shameful. Or I'm the best parent ever, so I think we'll run with that instead. But I've been wanting to make sure I can play something that I can pause And I've, for whatever reason, been hooked on State of Decay 2 after I saw it get a bunch of updates. And so going back into that game has been a blast. I've absolutely loved it. For those of you who haven't played State of Decay 2, it's kind of a resource management, open world, zombie survival game. And it's permadeath. So if any of the characters that you diligently set up or that are essential to your group can do certain things, they die forever, and all of a sudden you don't have an auto mechanic. You can't fix your cars, or
I do love that mechanic in that game, though. I love that.
I love it, and it causes you to adjust your strategy and try to keep everyone healthy and alive. And there's blood plague, so which hilariously enough. So the blood plague causes you to die over time, and you have to find cures and stuff like that. It's a real interesting game for any Xbox Game Pass owners. All the DLC is on there already. Yeah, play State of Decay 2. Of course, there's also multiplayer in that. So people who like multiplayer only are not going to be left out.
Hockey, what have you been playing this week?
More Persona 4 on my stream, which is right here. Thank you. And Dragon. Actually, I've been playing. I have the box for it this time, so I can do this. I have been playing this one.
Aha.
Warrior 11, which is actually possibly one of the best versions of this game. The reason for that is, so Squaresoft Enix likes to do one of these things with their remasters of their re-releases of their games. They did this with 7's, not remaster, but the re-release of the original 7 and a couple other games. This has a sped-up battle mode. So, particularly with the Dragon Quest games, you need to fight 30 monsters in a certain area so you can level up and have the money to, buy the newest gear so you can repeat the same scenario.
Yeah.
They've sped up the battles. You can set it to ultra speed and
nice.
It's just more click and go. So yeah, having to fight 10 guys in a row before you can level and get enough currency is not as bad. There's also an item crafting in that game, so you don't have to spend all of your money crafting gear. You can actually make gear, and it's generally better than what you can buy.
I've noticed that Square Enix has tried to become more respectful of your time by throwing features like that in their games. Yeah.
They did that with 7, 8. I think they did that with a couple of other of the remakes, or not the remakes, the re-releases.
Yeah.
They also put
the Final Fantasy 7, the re-release of it. You could speed things up there.
They also put the Japanese audio track in this game, which I'm really thankful for because I'm tired of everything sounding like an American high school reenactment of the Downton Abbey episode. No matter whether or not I will constantly make fun of it. We're playing Dragon Warrior, right? And we're Dragon Quest. Oi, governor, let's go feed up a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's what we've been playing this week. Let's start playing in the comments. And so we'd like to get to our next section of the show, which we call Level 2, the question of the week, which we did put on Facebook. And I put it late. You'll start seeing our question of the week on Saturdays going forward. But this week's question of the week, I love it. Which video game hero is coming to save you from Bowser? I'm going to start with Pocky because he looks like he's chomping at the bit to just say, hey.
I want to say the Dragonborn from Skyrim. So that way when he defeats Bowser, he can devour his soul.
He's going to force him down
from it. Mushroom!
I like that. That's definitely a good train of thought.
You're shaking your head, but you're just depressed that you didn't think of that.
No, I didn't think of that one. I was thinking more of Metal Gear, a Solid Snake. I would have Solid Snake down because he would demolish that castle on his way out there, and there would never be a Bowser issue ever again. Let's just be real honest about that.
Well, no. He would set the charges on the bridge. Then he'd pop up behind Bowser, and Bowser would be like, "What?" But then he'd give this can't take 20-minute dialogue about the futility of man in war. Then Snake would just blow it up. Telling you
that there would be no more Bowser issues ever again.
But Princess Peach would have a great badunk.
All right, Cynic, what about you?
I actually I saw this. I saw you post this on social media on one of the few times I actually did jump on, and I thought Solid Snake as well.
Okay, so you can say Solid Snake.
I've just now rethought my I rethought things, and I'm thinking I'll go with Rikimaru from the Tenchu series. And the reason being is because even though Snake can get in there and rescue people, storyline wise, a lot of them have a bad habit of dying. So I'll go ahead.
He has to save you once. Come on now.
But Snake will save a girl. I mean, the girl is who he saves.
How many Marios have there been? What do you mean if there's only one time? Get out of here with that.
No, I'm saying that he saves only women.
Because Princess Kiku has been kidnapped like 1,000 times, okay? And, well, so I said 1,000. She's been abducted at least once per Tenchu game, and she always comes out alive. So I'll go ahead and say Rikimaru from Tenchu just because he could get in there, sight unseen, slaughter everybody in his way. Bowser's not going to be a problem in the future because Rikimaru would do some crazy finishing move that involves a throat being slit and a head coming off. Despite that, there will be lots of yelling and screaming afterward. Yeah, I'd be fine because Rikimaru is a beast.
But then it's revealed that unfortunately that after you defeated Bowser, that his soul was actually guarding the gates of hell, and now you've opened up hell, and that's that's a different Tenchu game.
Yeah, we're not worrying about that.
All right, so let's get to talk about our news of the week. We didn't have a lot until we sat down to do our pregame because I wasn't paying a lot of attention. There is some fun stuff this week, so let's start with.
Yeah. You're welcome. By the way, half these news stories because
okay, one of them is completely unbelievable, but let's start with the House of Lords deal.
Okay, so Cynic, were you aware that the House of Lords had an opinion about loot boxes? Or do you know the House of Lords is first?
I think I actually saw an article about it today. That I guess the Parliament is going, hey, like loot boxes are a problem. It's gambling for kids, and it needs to be addressed now. And I'm all for it. Yeah, more power to
it. Not that it just should be addressed now. They are literally addressing it now. They have officially declared loot boxes gambling, and they will start putting basically loot boxes under the same category as basically slot machines and horse racing.
Oh, good.
Which means it's going to go into the Gambling Commission, the European Gaming Commission at that point. And if it ends up in the European Gaming Commission, well, that thing is very, very heavily regulated and very heavily controlled, which means EA and them will have to deal with a group of people that do not understand the word budge. And this is, of course, from EA and Activision and all them, the people who try to use the phrase surprise mechanics as a legitimate excuse. They're saying that there are direct links to problems with gambling and spending out of control and whatnot for children. This is not including adults who have this sort of same problem, gambling and everything, gambling compulsive disorders and whatnot. And people try to get away from that by playing video games. And then video games just keep introducing this stuff. And worse yet, some games introduce it after the fact, which is Activision's new MO is basically been, hey, we're going to release Crash Team Racing. There's a store to it, but it's all on in-game currency. You don't have to worry about it. There's no online store, blah, blah, blah. And then 4 weeks later, it immediately goes live to an online store. All the currency gets reduced down to piss poor to get anything, but you can buy it. And all of a sudden you miss they missed having the Peggy and the ESRB putting the warning there is gambling on this game. There's loot boxes, which is a new tab. And there are now copies in the UK and the United States that don't have those labels, and so parents don't know. There are two different boxes, basically. One that does have the label and one that doesn't. And it's also up to the individual companies, Best Buy, GameStop, and all them, to put those labels on the boxes.
Yeah, I told Hockey we had talked about this before. The loot box controversy. There was this one. There's the one where the IRS wants to tax digital currency that buy loot boxes. So loot boxes are on their way out anyways. At least in Destiny, they're free. They're just part of it. You just get them for leveling up. I like I said, I understood the purpose of them. You know,
the gaming industry made over $1 billion on them, and yet they still claim that they need it. They don't pay. The Activision, EA, and them don't pay any taxes.
Well,
they asked for government bailout.
It's not cheap to keep making these games. It's not cheap to keep updating these games. This is what we all expect, usually, except for you because you like single player games.
No, I like games that work.
Yeah,
they're not doing that either.
So
no, they're making what EA and them need to do is they need to stop following the movie model, which is make one super big ass game that requires all of your resources. The Last of Us 2 did not need that many people doing crunch time to make that game.
That's what we want. It's going to take all those resources for next gen graphics to really be worthwhile. It's you can make these little independent games, but people are looking for the next gen stuff, and you're going to have to put your entire team behind it, and it's going to cost money.
Well, except here's the thing. There is no amount of money in the world that is enough money to these people.
It's a business. They want to make money, Pocky. What's wrong with that?
There's a difference between proper expectations and false expectations. We all know this. When you make a company, you don't say, with Resident Evil 8, as an example, do you know how many copies they said they needed to sell of Resident Evil 8? They needed to sell 135 million copies of that game on release week.
It's not going to happen.
Right. But guess who got told that? Their investors. Their investors got told, we're going to sell this game and we're going to sell this many copies to make a profit. That never happens.
The problem is the gaming market's changing. The gaming market's changing with each generation, and they can't keep these old ways in mind. And it's especially right now with everyone having to work from home and everything being delayed and pushed back is going to cost more money. So at the end of the day, I'm glad that they're regulating the loot boxes, but they're not going away. They're not going away. They started off as an instant enough way to make some extra money, and they just got out of hand. That's how I look at it.
Except now the gaming industry has made more money off loot boxes than any game ever made. In fact,
it was a weird side effect because people like me like their cosmetic stuff. I'll buy cosmetic stuff on Destiny all day and night. I love it. But I'm not going to buy weapons or game-changing things because it's not worth it.
Yeah, but you also got to look at it from the people who have disorders. They're trying to get away from this shit. And the gaming industry puts it in everything. It doesn't matter what the game is. The fact that Monster Hunter, Capcom had to come out and say, we're not putting microtransactions in flipping Monster Hunter World was such big news. Everyone applauded to them like they came out and said, we have Jesus. The gaming industry should not get applause for not putting...
But they did put microtransactions in Monster Hunter. It's just for cosmetic stuff. It's nothing game-changing, and that's what's happening. Is it's mostly for just cosmetic stuff. Yeah, it sucks you have to buy a lot of this stuff that you used to get for free, but when I pay $60 for a game that I play for 4 years, it keeps getting updates, and I maybe will pay $20 for a DLC once a year, that doesn't cover a cost of developing these games. It does not cover that cost. There has to be reality we have to face. And so loot boxes were a horrible way to do it. I have no doubt that they programmed them to be very...
predatory
side, because you would not get things that you wanted out of it because it was the RNG and they would put good things very rare, just like buying a lottery ticket. So that's basically what you were taking your chances. So I understand it. I'm glad that they're, starting to really fix the problem, but our expectations for what we want to play and the future of gaming systems kind of created this mess. And so that's where we're just going to leave it at that because you and I are never going to agree on it.
I will say this. They created the mess that they're fixing.
Yeah.
They didn't need these gigantic teams. They invented these gigantic teams.
We're never going to agree on this one because you like the indie developers and I like the big box
developers. Not even I like the indie developers. I just don't want to see a staff work 88 hours a week.
You are using little independent games that you can make with 10 people that don't necessarily utilize next-gen technology versus a game like the new Call of Duty or the new Doom or any version of Destiny or any version of World of Warcraft or any version of the next Star Wars games that people expect a lot from. So you have to have people. And their problem is they create these deadlines. They do the stupid things in the industry. And the industry's coming out against it now, so hopefully it'll fix it. But it just means games are going to take longer in the future. And that's going to cause another problem with us going, well, we've been waiting for this game forever now because that's just the way we are. We are impatient as a culture. We want what we want now. We want it when we want it. So there's a reality we have to face. That takes money. That takes time.
But then we're killing the gaming industry because everybody
gets it. And now they're going to have to fix it. And we're going to be happy for a little while until it takes us 2 years to get the next Star Wars game, or it takes 3 years to get a new World of Warcraft expansion. Then we're going to complain, and we're going to go, it's a vicious cycle. So how do you
do it the first time?
You get more money. How do they get more money? Well, they can't charge you for a bunch of stuff, so they did the loot boxes. They did the cosmetic items. They did things to try to find a way to supplement their income, which is what they needed to do, so maybe they could get more staff and no one's going to be overworked. But
you know what the number one way to fix all these? You know what the number one way to fix all these problems is? Stop giving Bobby Kotick $35 million a year to be a fucking douchebag.
The industry has to realize that and change itself. We're already seeing how they're starting to work. Look at the workplace cultures and that. That's why this whole quarantine thing, despite the fact one of us got the plague, is working because people are starting to realize more. They're starting to realize they don't need to be sitting for 60 hours a week at a game developers. They don't need to sit in the cubicle. They can do everything they need to do in a time. So that's where we're at with that. And we're not going to argue about this one anymore because Cynic looks like he's about ready to throw up over here. All right.
Yeah, you guys always get into this one, and you're always the devil's advocate, and Pocky is always the man of the people over there. And my whole take always on it is, if I pay $60 goddamn dollars for a game, and the advertisement for it is that you're going to be able to keep playing this, and you're not going to have to worry about all the DLC, or you're not going to have to worry about, at least until later. I know that was one of Monster Hunter's big things. Like, my take on it is, if I pay $60 and you want to do a loot box system, I think I wish they would do both. I wish they would just say, hey, if you play the game, you'll unlock more stuff, like Halo Reach did.
Yeah.
As opposed to, say, like Halo 5, where everything was a loot box, and my multiplayer character has one cool-looking loadout, and the rest are dog shit. So I stopped playing Halo 5 because I wasn't able to actually play one of my favorite I guess game types. Warzone that's it. I was trying to think the name of it. Warzone was heavy on the loot box weapons. So
see, she doesn't even like loot boxes.
She hates them. So yeah.
So that's where we're at with the loot boxes. Good for them for regulating it better. Let's hope the industry changes with it.
Definitely.
So next up was the weird rumor that hit this week. I love when next-gen consoles come out because there's so much we don't know, but there's so much people claim to know. Like, Cynic and I had already talked once about how the specs for the new Xbox were kind of shadowing out what PlayStation 5 could do. And so there's been this weird back and forth, and then PlayStation 5 revealed an all-digital console. And everyone was like, oh, like it took me by surprise because I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
People have been saying forever and a day that there was going to be also an Xbox Series X version. That, like, they had announced that a long time ago. So now that people are starting to confirm this is actually going to happen, they're saying the specs for it, which are maybe half of what Series X has, is still better than what the PlayStation Digital has. I was like, how are y'all figuring this out? Because there's not a lot of information out there.
Yeah.
You have all of these stat sheets back there to like try to be like, oh wow, look at this stuff. Because I mean, it lines up with what they were saying ahead of time, but we're at the point now where next gen, like, I'm gonna get one just because I'm stupid. I'm an Xbox fanatic, but
I'm gonna get the weird clamshell thingy.
Yeah, he's getting the Seto Kaiba system.
Fuck you, I'm rich. That's why.
Does it really matter? We just want to play games and have fun. That's all that really matters.
Agreed.
Who cares about what this does or what that does? Most of your home setups won't match what this thing could do anyways. I'm fortunate enough that I think I do have a setup that does that, but it's only because I got really lucky. Like
You
a lot
also,
of people.
you also work at a job that allows you to that level of income.
Well, yeah, but I don't make a shit. I don't make hardly.
No,
any
but I'm just saying.
money where I'm at.
You also don't have. You also, your child is of age enough where you're not spending as much money.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
so
like
yeah.
I'm fortunate enough to probably be able to really take advantage of it because I can definitely tell the difference on my sound system and my TV because it's a $1,500 sound system. She's not happy with that one.
She said you spent how much? How dare you? That could have been toys.
I didn't spend it that much. I actually won it. So
she's getting pretty fussy, and I'm getting pretty exhausted here. So.
Okay, so make sure you at least watch so you can comment because we've got some fun news stories I definitely wanted to hear from you on.
I definitely will. Hey, if you want to get priority ones out of the way while I'm on, please do. See if I can get
this one. I know I just finished talking, but you gotta give me this one, man.
All right, so the Xbox rumor, that's what we're looking at. Are you talking about Super Smash Brothers?
Yes.
Okay, this is the one I want your info on. All right, here we go. I cannot fathom this.
Okay, so when I said this title to Gavin, Gavin's like, how? And I had to point out to him that I'm not, the fact that I have to say this might be the worst time ever for you to do that bottom scroll because of what I'm about to talk about.
Go for it.
So, Super Smash Brothers has a pedophilia problem, apparently.
How does this game, with Mario characters fighting each other, have a pedophilia problem?
Because it's not
that kid.
Yes, explain.
So apparently 4 of its major players, 4 of its high-end players, have been accused of either grooming children to become their significant others, or straight up just having sex with them.
How do you do this? Like, are you on a game?
I mean,
it's going. Oh yeah, I'm not sorry. Oh yeah, come on. Like, no.
Here, I'm curious. I'm not saying that this isn't the case, but where can I find this? Because that's very.
Are you saying like where can you find this news headline, or where can you find?
I was gonna say where can I find this headline, the info, because that's crazy. Yeah.
Honestly, if you do a quick Google search, because it started happening about a day ago.
Oh, it's real serious. This isn't a fringe thing. It's big.
It's Screen Rant. Yeah, it's you do Screen Rant. So what happened is that I'm not going to name any of the streamers. I'm not going to name anything, so nobody gets any press. I refuse to name anybody, except I will name one person, and that is going to be the CEO of Twitch. And the CEO of Twitch is having a problem with this too, because so Mixer got just shut down for basically allowing sexual predators and whatnot into their higher ups and whatnot. And the people who are being accused are higher ups and major players in Twitch. They're big time players. They're a big part of the community. A couple of them go to Evo. So yeah.
So when you say big time players, are you talking streamers?
Yes.
Streamers and the Evo players.
And some of the Evo okay, yeah.
Oh my God, like, I don't understand how this happened. Like, we are just so fucked up that we're using Nintendo games for pedophilia.
So I'm going to put the names here on our private chat. Again, I do not want to give these guys and apparently one girl, any press. So that's their names from the article.
I don't know who any of those people are.
Thank God, I don't know who any of those people are either.
I know one of them.
I was thinking
they're
would not be those guys, and yeah. Okay.
So yeah. Apparently, they would go. A couple of them went to a couple tournaments, and yeah, got the groove on.
Wow.
Apparently, a couple other major things happened.
That's pretty awful.
So yeah, apparently this is becoming a big deal. Some more stuff is coming to light. The biggest problem thing about this is, like I said, Mixer just got shut down for a bunch of problems involving
behind the scenes stuff, not
behind the scenes stuff.
Twitch is toxic on the front end of stuff. So
the problem is that right after all this is starting to bust loose. The Twitch CEO is basically going, we don't know, guys. I'm not going to say anything just yet, except there's literally people coming out of the woodworks claiming barely more than these people that I just put in the private chat. Yeah, that's not including apparently a couple of fighting game communities are having a problem where apparently known white supremacists are members of their community.
Oh, I thought Call of Duty had that community on lockdown, but okay.
No. I'm talking about fighting games.
I know you're talking about fighting games, which makes me it makes me a little defensive, but I'm not going to sit here and say that doesn't exist because I've gotten many an angry message, and that stuff's definitely out there.
So Cynic, weirdly, it's 2 games you like that has having this problem. One of them being from Japan.
What is this from Japan then?
Z.
Dragon Ball Fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Dragon Ball Fighters is one of the most popular fighting games of all time. It's bound to draw in people of all types, even assholes.
Apparently,
so
yeah, I'm getting. I don't know. Really, I'm upsetting your daughter, but yeah, apparently, yeah.
Well, she's mixed, so it would piss her off. Yeah.
So unless you're in a chat with these people, how are they yelling at people? Like, I don't get in chats with people that I don't know.
Some of these cases that are showing up, and they're not from them being online. We're talking about physical contact.
Well, I'm talking about like all sorts of things. I get that. They're not streaming this stuff, right? Like, there's no possible way they're streaming like accidental boobages out or dicks out or something. Like,
no. We're talking about streamers and professional guys going out to competitions and whatnot.
So they're like that creepy old man in a van with like, here's some amiibos for Smash Brothers. Come on, children! Like, for real.
I think a 24-year-old hooking up with a 14-year-old or a 26-year-old hooking up with a 14-year-old. And actually, that's literally one of the cases going down. Apparently, this person is 26 years old, and the person they hooked up with is 14.
Right. Not to dismiss what's happening, but what the hell kind of parenting does this 14-year-old have?
You go to a gaming tournament, and all you see is kids.
Who lets their kids go by themselves if they're underage to a gaming tournament? I would never let my kid go by himself. I've been to gaming tournaments with you before. There are parents with people that, like, they make the rules that if you're under a certain age, you got to have parents with you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just waving a key knife. Sorry.
You will take this, sir.
Everything is becoming so toxic because there's so many idiots out there in the world. I hope to God they all figure their shit out and become normal people by the time this is done. Because everything is changing.
So I don't think that everything's becoming toxic and whatnot.
It is. Everything has, like, even Cards Against Humanity has become toxic. And hello, that is a toxic game. It's the most fucked up game.
It's not that. There's a difference between like South Park. Like, you can make and write really horrendously bad things as comedy and satire, which was kind of Cards Against Humanity. There is a difference between writing that and sexually assaulting somebody.
Yeah.
Now the thing is,
I am glad all of this stuff is coming out.
Yeah.
But it's coming hard and fast, and I don't think everything's going to look the same at the end. I think Twitch is going to have a lot of problems because of this, and it's going to definitely change to the level of, like, Google changes things for YouTube, and it's going to become a nightmare. I have a feeling that the game industry as a whole, because of this stuff, is really going to get fucked up, and it's going to cost us all our hobbies.
My thing is, as I was about to say, was I don't think this is anything new. I don't the crunch times and all this, the sexual harassment, these allegations
are public. We could always turn a blind eye because we didn't know before, and no one talked about it.
Right.
But now everything is becoming public, and we're realizing this has to change.
And I think one of the parts of it is with guys like Jim Sterling, Young Yi, and a couple of the other guys. They're not tied to a company. They're not tied to Destructoid anymore. IGN, GameStop. IGN apparently is having its own problems. I think what it is that these independents, these indie guys, and the Facebooks and the Twitters in the world, they allow people to say, hey, there's bad shit going on, and they don't have to worry about if someone at Destructoid or IGN says, hey, CD Projekt Red will work people 130 hours a week. And then CD Projekt Red goes, I'm sorry, we're not giving you copies anymore. Well, indie guys don't have to worry about that because they're not doing that shit. In most cases, if they're reviewing stuff, they're getting money from Patreon and they'll buy it out of their own pockets. Like Young E and Game Sterling does.
I think we're all going to go a lot deeper than that.
I think it's going to go horrendously. I think
we're going to make Cynic leave because he's not leaving on his own. Cynic, we're kicking you out of the show.
Oh, that's fine. I was just kind of waiting for you guys to finish your point, and I was gonna say she's getting fussy, and when I'm standing with her, oh my god, this whole thing starts to become a different kind of nightmare. So
go do what you're gonna do. Watch the rest of the show.
See you guys later. I love y'all.
Bye.
Love you too.
Get yourself plenty of water and rest.
He doesn't hear you.
So, yeah, that's definitely.
I think part of it is. I think ultimately, though, part of it is as Will Smith put it about certain things is now everything has an outlet to get shown. Now we get to see the dirty laundry.
Yeah, and now we get to see what's going to come out at the end and who's going to make it right. All right. Other fun news. I think it was today. Amazon announced they're making a Fallout TV series.
It did get announced today. That was actually all over everybody's news. I'm going to be honest. I am surprised we didn't save this for Tuesday. I thought this was going to be a Tuesday headline.
No, I felt this would be a good one for tonight, and we can talk about it fan service on Tuesday as well. But
Tuesday nights at 9:30, guys. Don't forget to watch.
We're gonna have a lot to talk about on fan service. Trust me. But I don't know how I feel about it.
Well, it's done by the same person who did Westworld.
Yeah, and I love the first two seasons of Westworld. I haven't watched the third one yet, but it's unnecessarily complicated. Westworld is the most unnecessarily complicated show. Like, apparently season 2, episode 1 was the end of the season, and episode 20 was the beginning of the season. Like, I don't know, have a fucking idea how they do their shit. I don't want them to overthink this. I want them to just give us a fun post-apocalyptic adventure series. I don't want them to try to get all meta with it. I don't want them to try to get all up in their feelings like Matrix Revolutions. Even though I like the other two Matrix movies, I just want to see a fun TV show. That's really all I care about. I'm not a huge Fallout fan. I'm more of a Elder Scrolls fan. And it's because I navigate my way around maps, usually by landmarks and stuff, and everything in Fallout looks the same.
Yep.
Everything in Elder Scrolls has seasons. Like, you can tell where you're at. Most games, I can always tell where I'm at because I go by landmarks. But Fallout, I get lost in so easily. I have Fallout 4. I got to the part where I fought the giant hermit crab in the castle. That's about as far as I got. They're putting 76 on Games Pass. I may or may not download it. I don't know if people are playing it or not. I know it's uber popular. And I guess the other reason why I'm just kind of like, is it's another apocalypse show. We have so many of those now. I would have rather have seen another fantasy show like Elder Scrolls, but Amazon is doing Lord of the Rings. And I don't think they want that competition.
What the other apocalypse shows going on right now? I'm trying to think.
Oh, let's see. We have, there was Walking Dead for the longest time. There's 3 or 4 different ones on Netflix. There's 2 new ones coming to HBO Max. There's another one coming to, I think Hulu's getting one.
Well, it's because I'm going to make the joke. I'm going to make the joke that it's because Chicago and Detroit is so like everyone's abandoned it. You could just make a set out of that. I think honestly, I'm honestly surprised it taken this long. I mean, they were talking about a Fallout series in 3, and that was on the Xbox 360. I think this was a matter of time. I mean, hell. 1 and 2 were insanely popular. I just feel I kind of agree with you, but I think the thing that's going to be with this one is it's going because Walking Dead. The thing was it was the apocalypse, but it was just like there were like teenagers, young adults who remember what it was like before the apocalypse. And the thing about Fallout is it's like
nobody remembers.
Nobody remembers. There's entire legends and shit.
Yeah, and
I think that's going to be the big difference is people like it's in our future and it's in the future of that future. So it will be kind of fun to see, 25 like what was it? it's 2276 is the Fallout 76 one.
I guess my other thing is Amazon hasn't they did The Expanse, but they haven't done a lot of effects heavy shows. Like Tales of the Loop comes kind of close, but it's still very practical, very low key. Lord of the Rings will probably be the one that really pushes what they can do. Like we've seen what Netflix can do. We got the Witcher show. We've got we had Daybreakers. That was 100%. That was another apocalypse show, but that got canceled. We can see, but because fantasy takes fantasy and sci-fi take a very particular hand.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they take the easy route out. Like, I kind of think it'd be funny if the Fallout show was based entirely in the vault. Like, entirely in the vault, and they don't get out to the end. So people who don't know Fallout don't know what's going on. It'd be kind of like 10 Cloverfield Lane. Is it or isn't the apocalypse? What the hell is going on? I think that would be a really funny show to start off with before you actually go out into the big world, because this way you get more world building.
Season 1 finale be them opening the door and finally.
Yeah, because this way you get more build up to your characters, because Fallout is a very solitary game. It's one person running around. I would like to see a group. I mean, there are other people, but usually you're by yourself. You're sometimes with someone random from a town you came across. And everyone's so used to the Fallout universe, they know the story. But I think to open it to an entire new audience might be a little overwhelming if they don't have some sort of context. I hope they start out in the vault for a little while.
I think your pilot, or at least your first 3 episodes, should definitely be in the vault. I think the way you have to do is you have to do it like 3, which is you start off in the vault, and then like you get to the first town. The first town's just a little outside the area. You can still kind of look over, and on the horizon, there's your home.
Yeah.
You can't go back into your home because you've been thrown out. And then as you progress, as you get later in the story, you get to you get to Jefferson's Monument and you do the big final conflict. I think this series is not going to be, I think it's going to be effects heavy, but it's going to be costume effect heavy. I mean, the thing about Fallout is like, you've got your ghouls and you have your feral ghouls and you have, the Brotherhood of Steel, but everyone else after that is human. Or just straight up, there's nothing fancy.
There's a lot of background things going on. You've got the mutant monsters, you got the abominations, you've got the flying robots, you've got the weird sci-fi style 50s setup. There's a lot going on that I hope that they don't mess it up, because I know some people who are Fallout fanatics.
Yeah, me and your brother are one of them.
Yeah, Lance is one of them. Lance made his own Pip-Boy, so
yeah.
So we'll see.
You know what the big thing is going to be, though? You know what everyone's going to squeal when they see it if they make it?
Brotherhood of Steel?
No, the Brotherhood of Steel is going to be it. You have to have the Brotherhood of Steel. No, it's the Fat Man.
Oh yeah.
When that player when the Vault Dweller, because the story has to involve a Vault Dweller, because they all except one involve the Vault Dweller.
It doesn't have to. They could tell something from maybe it is going to be a Brotherhood of Steel show. We don't know. Maybe that's why we're kind of because we've all dealt with the Dweller story 5 times now.
Actually, we've only dealt with this Vault Dweller story 3 times.
Fallout 1, Fallout 2, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout 5. Well, nope. Fallout 76.
Nope.
Which one did it deal with the Vault?
No, okay. Dealing with the Vault. New Vegas did not deal with the Vault at all. You were a courier. 2, you were not the Vault Dweller. You were the
New Vegas was an expansion.
No, New Vegas was a
DLC.
No, New Vegas was its own game.
Oh.
It was a standalone game. It was made by the original Fallout team.
3 or 4. I thought it was a DLC to 3.
No, 3's DLC was Operation Anchorage, the Bayou one, and Operation Zeta, which was the spaceship. So yeah, see this. I'm a diehard fan. 2 was you were the descendant. 1 you were Vault Dweller. 2 you were the descendant of the first Vault Dweller. 3 you were sort of a Vault Dweller. It kind of gets weird thing, but basically, yeah, you came from Vault. The reason the Vault is so easy to deal with, by the way, is because you treat the Vault Dweller like you treat your audience. He doesn't know what's going on in the outside. Shut up! I know you make fun of me the way I say that word.
Audience.
But you basically the audience and the Dwell Dweller have the same level of information, which is zero. It's why in every cop show and every sci-fi military show, the first main character is the new recruit. It's because that way when you do an expedition dump or you have to explain things to people, you go, "Oh, you're the rookie. Let me explain the stupid stuff to you that everyone knows."
Yeah.
And then, or by the way, you were a Vault Dweller, but you see how you got into the vault, and then you were cryogenically frozen, and then you were unput in the vault.
Technically a Vault Dweller. Anyways.
Technically, sort of, but it's weird.
So we'll see. It'll be a couple years before we see it, but we'll see how they play it out. Next up, this was a game. The only reason I was excited for Stadia was Crata came out. Crata is a create your own game type of game.
Oh, like Sackboy and was it Dreamweaver or a couple?
Yeah, but this is strictly make your own game and play other people's games. And it came out. People are having so much fun with it, but it's kind of limited because they only let so many people into the alpha to build game level, so there's not a lot for you to jump into right now, apparently. But they're saying the potential of this game is amazing. It's got a basic mode where you can use a controller and advanced mode where you need a keyboard and mouse. And you can really dig deep into making some fun game stuff. So I'm excited. I might actually go try it out next week because I still have Stadia up and running. But I'll let you guys know about that one. So we have 2 more news stories, and these are all about me. I ain't even going to lie. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Animal Crossing insanity.
This is all you. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I had friends go home from their jobs today to sell turnips when they found out that someone had them for 600 bells. They left their jobs to go home to sell turnips in a virtual video game. I just take my Switch with me to work when I have to go.
I'm done. We're gone.
The stock, I joined 2 turnip stock exchange Facebook groups to see what was going on. And every day it is insanity. It is insanity. And, just when I was kind of at my point of, I think I've done everything in Animal Crossing, July hit, so there's a shit ton of new things to catch. And tomorrow, there's a whole little mini DLC coming out where you can go into the ocean. I love this game. I just love them. But Nintendo, I don't think they were clear with people. This is a sim life game. So there will be things that you can only catch at midnight. So don't bitch at us.
You mean FOMA?
Yeah.
They have FOMA, and people are doing FOMA things.
There's beetles for the next 2 months, and some of them you can only catch overnight. And, of course, people had to go try to catch them all in one day. So people weren't sleeping because they were waiting all night for 6 hours to try to catch a beetle. I was like, y'all, you've got 2 fucking months. Plan it out. Just stay up late one night. You don't got to do everything in the first fucking day.
But then you don't have it. And then you can't. It's. So remember when I keep complaining that they're turning your games into jobs? This is how you turn your game into a job.
No, you leave your job and go to this job. I can't complain. Like I say, I have a case for my Switch. It goes with me because I don't have a lot to do at work sometimes because it's quarantine time. So I'll check on things. And so many people left their jobs to go sell today turnips that I noticed. I was like, this is getting a little crazy.
Well, I mean, this is. You think that's bad? I am not attacking a video game because I'm about to say certain words. The fact that they have apps for auction houses for auction houses for MMOs, so that the people can do their stocks and their trades through gear. And my wife is looking at me right now. I can sense it.
Why does she take part in the World of Warcraft ones?
My wife is not that bad. She plays World of Warcraft. She's part of a guild. It is a wonderful GLBT friendly guild. She's on Proudmoore, which is the gayest server ever. But my wife is not that bad. What I am talking about is people who look at the World of Warcraft auction house the same way people apparently in fucking Animal Crossing look at turnips.
Yeah. It's a serious, heavy thing.
And also, Courtney has pointed this out just now, and the mic's pointed in ways that may not pick her up. WoW allows you to pay a game time via gold, actually in-game currency, so you don't have to actually spend money. This is one of the things they do to keep players who may not be able to afford it. They've been doing this for years to keep playing. So one of the reasons people obsessively look at the auction houses so they keep their game time running. But yes, it is a thing.
I'm all for it. All right. Last story. This was what has me really excited is there's a lot of speculation on where Destiny is going. And I'm a Destiny fanatic. I'm in it practically every day. Most of my family plays it. We all play together. We had so much fun just playing last night, actually. So it's building up over these past 4 years to the darkness coming. And now the darkness is here, and it's not really the bad guy as it seems. So the running theory is that they're going to go World of Warcraft and do two sides, the light and the dark. And they've been analyzing everything about how the main characters are starting to kind of split. And apparently the game director is a huge fan of World of Warcraft. So they're really excited. I like this idea because I think that would take Destiny to an actual new level. But I already know which side I'm going to because all the characters I love are on a very specific skewed side. And I'm like, it's going to be the darkness. And all the characters I love are now leaning more towards the darkness in the official lore and canon storyline now. So I know that's where I'm going to be heading because fuck Zavala, I hate him. I'll follow the Drifter and the Exo Stranger and Eris Morin and fucking I can't remember his name.
But so
Osiris. I'll follow those because I love those characters. I love their complex storylines. They're all leading towards the darkness. So we'll see what's going to happen.
This sounds interesting. The bigger question is, will they do a classic server? But that sounds nice. I mean, my worry is that it's so the company. When is it Activision took Destiny back?
Bungie.
Bungie took it back from Activision. That's right. My worry is that they said they were going to try to calm down on the FOMA. Again, FOMA. They're trying to cut down on the FOMA.
Oh, they've definitely done that. And they've made some weird questions. Okay, keep going.
But my worry is that they're like, oh, we're going to cut back on FOMA in this way. But what they're going to do is invent FOMA another way, which is on the light side, we're going to do this story with this stuff, and you can only do it via this. And then on the darkness, same concept.
It's the same thing they do in World of Warcraft.
Except
or any other MMO. Each side plays very differently. They have very different stories, and I get it. They have different things they get. I get it. I play one character in Destiny. I don't play the 3 characters. I've had my Warlock since beta. That's all I play. I don't have a Hunter. I have a Titan, but he just kind of sits there.
And that's what I'm saying. Like in World of Warcraft, on the other hand, World of Warcraft's leveling system is very, very quick. And right now how they're dealing with all the content they've ever created, plus their upcoming content is when you make a new character, you can pick which expansion they start in. Not level wise, but story wise. So you go through one through.
That's how they did it with Destiny.
In Shadowlands.
No, we started in Shadowlands. Yes. What I'm saying is, the thing is, so my thing is that yes, you don't have multiple characters. You have one. You've been playing that one. You've been grinding up that one. You've been fulfilling that things, levels and things and everything else. And there are people who want to play both those sides to see both those stories, and that means they're going to have to balance their time. In a game that already requires you to balance a lot of time.
But see, I kind of disagree because we live in the internet age where we can watch all the cutscenes and stories on articles on YouTube for the other side. Like, I'm not going to feel like I'm missing out because I can go read what's happening over there.
Yeah. Well, but there are people, but it's like people who like, and I'm not comparing you to this by any stretch of imagination, but there are people who will watch a movie by a Wikipedia. It's called Watch by Wikipedia. And all you do is you read the data entry of a Wikipedia, you get all the plot points, and it says if you watched it. Yeah. And then there are people who want to actually see the movie because there are things in the Wikipedia entry doesn't talk about, little subtle nuances, little things that hints parts of the story that you're like, you
I don't
might
think Destiny's that complex. Like, you could literally just Wikipedia some of this stuff, but I
at the
think
same
World
time,
of Warcraft is a different one because they've been doing it for so long. They've got that down.
Yeah.
This is going to be something new for them to do. They already are talking about having to save server space, so they're going to be resetting some places that aren't really used much anymore, which I think is dumb. They should just kind of keep growing, but I get it as well to a small point. Like, we're losing 3 planets come September.
and see, the thing is, they said they were trying to get rid of FOMA, and they're not going to do it as bad.
No, he just did something stupid.
I don't know what just happened. It would flash for my electricity and stuff didn't go off. All of a sudden, just the screen refreshed itself. So
Probably had an internet ping out that way.
You hit a button accidentally, honey.
I just said
So,
Well, if you hit one of your side buttons accidentally, it might have.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out if it's true, because they really can't just keep doing the same thing.
yeah.
And I would like it to go that route because I did enjoy World of Warcraft when I played it, and I loved Old Republic when I played that for years, and City Heroes, all that kind of stuff. So, I guess
I think the big thing is going to be is I still want to know how Bungie said they were going to fulfill that 10-year promise. That was a
window. Like, were you not paying attention? They already previewed the next 3 years.
Yeah, they've already approved the next 3 years. But the problem is that all it is it's
where we're going.
Yeah.
They've made very clear steps that this and next year are going to lead into Savathûn. What we're doing now is leading into the Darkness next year, dealing with that one. And all of that's leading into the Beyond the Light, which I think is when they're going to split the two. So we'll see. So that's it for this week. We'll see you guys next week. What are you looking at?
Earlier, my wife just opened up a case of water and it fell all over the floor and made this horrendously weird noise that sounded like a cat being killed.
Oh, I did hear that.
Just
all right.
It didn't drop.
So that's it for this week. Don't forget, pay attention to our social media pages because we're advertising everything we're doing ahead of time, and we have a schedule on our website. All sorts of fun things. We are Super Gamer Bros live every Thursday at 8 p.m. Don't forget, this Sunday at 7. Hopefully, if Cynic is not dead with the plague, we're going to be doing our Halo adventures. Pocky does some random streaming, but we're trying to nail down at least one night we can advertise for him.
All right, so for me, I've got for next week it will be Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoons, and Thursday afternoons.
So you got that. Tuesday is Red Web at 7:30. Wednesday is at 9:30. We have live shows all week for you guys, so just stay tuned and thank you guys for watching and having fun. We are probably going to take a 2-week vacation from Super Gamer Bros coming up because I've got some new format things I'm going to try to implement and try to test some things. I just need some time to do that. But it's nowhere. It'll probably be next month before we do that. Yeah, so I since we're doing everything from home, I really want to up our production values now that we're getting familiar with the studio setups and things like that. So it's gonna be lots of fun, and I'm gonna have to teach Cynic how to green screen his background. That's gonna be lots of hilarious fun. As long as he's in front of his white wall, he should be fine, I'm guessing, unless he just doesn't go get any sun and he gets green screened out as well.
He has eyeballs in his hair, and his kid pulling on his hair.
Yeah, it'll be his red hair, his black shirt, not his red hair, his black hair, and like his glasses. He's gonna be the invisible Cynic from now on. All right, so that's it. We'll see you guys next week. Pay attention to our question of the week, which will hit our Facebook page Saturday. Not gonna tell you what it is. You'll have to hit our social media. We want to hear from you. It's another good one. It's another good one.
That's what nice people. I can't say anything.
Yeah. I haven't even showed Pocky it yet. You're going to find out on Saturday with everybody else. This will be hilarious. So, yeah, that's it. If there's questions you want us to answer, make sure you hit us up in the comments or online. Just say, hey, Super Gamer Bros, I want you to answer this question. We'll answer it for you. Like I said, by the way, we can see your comments as it happens. And
yeah, thank you, Little Loudmouse.
We're just good to go. So, bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh, you know what our question this week should be? Will Cynic die of the plague? Which?
You're not ending the podcast, sir.
No, I know. Which?
We should end now because we're running out of time. We're running out of time. We don't want to talk about Cynic dying.
Which video game zombie franchise would Cynic like?
Why haven't you ended the broadcast?
Because I'm asking this question live so he can hear me. Because he's watching. No, that's not next week's question, but just for fun, we may ask that next week.
I'm hitting it
as a bonus question. Which zombie franchise would Cynic's plague degrade him into? Think about that one, Bach. You and I